All right, Bingeaholics Anonymous. We're back after somewhat of a hiatus. It's Ant. I'm here with Mo. What's up, Mo?
I'd like to call it a holiday.
It's a holiday. Yeah, if we're gonna go with
Yeah.
the European.
Well, actually, it's kind of the opposite of a holiday because didn't you just get a new job?
I did. So it's
Yeah.
that's kind of why we've had a little bit of a layoff, is because we've been trying to figure out the schedule. It's kind of hard to record late night when you have to be at work at 5 in the morning. Um,
Yeah.
so that's
Sacrifices of the fish man.
yeah, slinging that fish. Um, yeah, so I mean, we're still not 100% sure. I actually meant to ask you this before we started about our schedule going
Yeah.
forward, but
No,
we
this is
can
the
think
right place
about
to
it.
ask me.
Yeah, no, we always do our planning in front of you guys. Everything's out in the air. There's nothing
Yeah.
behind closed doors. Um, but we'll definitely keep them coming. It just might be different days. I mean, because we were doing, we had like a podcast Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Friday. So we might spread it out a little bit. I don't know exactly yet, but we won't bore you with that.
We'll let you know.
We'll let you
We'll
know.
get back to you guys.
Yeah, we'll get back to you guys. So we're starting a new series, our director's cut series. Oscars are done. We watched all the movies. We gave our pick. Uh,
We were right, by the way. I want to remind everyone that we were
we
right.
we were right. Almost weren't right. Wasn't right for a second, and then they switched it up on us, made us right.
Yeah. Just to
Um,
add a little suspense, but I just want to reiterate that I think that last Oscar series legitimized us as world-renowned critics of some
Absolutely.
sort, at least. I mean, think about it. Like, we did our due diligence. We watched all of them. We gave our honest review, and we were right. The Academy agreed with us. So it's, one thing leads to another. It's safe to say we're part of the Academy. I don't
Again,
think I'm going too far
no. We think we said this on the Oscar show. I think we're above the Academy
above the Academy.
because we're sitting here looking down, judging them.
Right,
Um,
and judging their decisions. We did a whole show about judging their judgment.
exactly.
So we're the Academy's Academy.
Yeah, no, and honestly, I think that going into the Oscars, they gave us a listen and they said, you know what, we were going to go with La La Land, but these guys were kind of right about Moonlight, so
Yeah,
I think we're going to go with them.
yeah. No, it had nothing to do with the social things going on with the black community in America.
Oscars so
That,
white.
yeah,
That was the hashtag
I
last
feel like
year.
they had to kind of redeem themselves. Like there was definitely some sort of um, it wasn't an accident that after the Oscars had an entire racist scandal the year before that they nominate an entirely black movie as Best Picture. Not saying it did deserve it,
Yeah,
because it definitely was the best movie I think that was nominated. And we obviously came to that conclusion on our own, but still not a coincidence.
and think about the supporting actors: Mahershala Ali and
Uh-huh.
Viola Davis, two more black actors slash actresses. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
but
right.
again, still kind of racist that they were supporting.
Supporting the white actor on top.
Exactly. Well,
Wow.
Moonlight. I don't think
Well,
that there was one white person in Moonlight, but just the notion of being a supporting actor,
yeah.
it's very degrading.
Yeah, I don't think
But
there's even a white extra in Moonlight now that I think about it.
yeah, no, not that I
I
can
guess
think of.
Kevin is the whitest kid there, and he's Hispanic.
Yeah, yeah,
Although he
he
looks black, old Kevin looks black. All right,
old Kevin looks black, young Kevin looks
Kevin very
yeah,
Hispanic. Again,
yeah,
not very good at matching up. All right, yeah, we've
yeah. We're
got
okay. We're done with Oscars. We're done with Oscars.
it.
um, so we're doing director's cut. If you didn't hear the last couple podcasts, basically what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be picking a director and we're gonna be watching all the movies, or at least the majority of them, depending on how many they've made, and we're gonna again rate them, pick our favorite one, yada yada yada.
Yeah, and
Um,
basically answer the question of which is his best film, and obviously,
or her best film.
are we doing any female directors?
I
Not to
mean,
say we shouldn't, but I didn't. Are there
we
any?
don't know yet. That's a good point. I don't know if there are
Yeah.
other female.
No, Zero Dark 30.
Oh yeah, that was a chick.
I think that might have been a chick. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
No, there should be more. There should be more women directors. I feel like there's not
Angelina
enough.
Jolie's done a couple things. I don't know. I've never seen them, but I think she's done a couple of movies directing.
Probably like weird porn. I feel like Angelina Jolie would direct porn.
She would direct but not like
Not
normal
regular porn.
like
No,
weird,
no.
weird
Like
porn,
dark porn.
like
Fetish
stuff
factory porn.
exactly stuff you would have to search like a good 45 minutes just to like find.
Right, and like you're questioning if it's legal the whole time.
Yeah.
Am I supposed to be watching this?
You're not sure if it's going to turn into a snuff film halfway through.
Yeah. So Death Proof.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so we're doing Tarantino.
Didn't we already say that?
Maybe we did. I don't know, but I'll say it again. I'll reiterate. We're doing Tarantino, and we did a little pick again. We're kind of picking through the numbers, like 1 through 10, whatever. I think it was 11 movies. No, 10 movies. Well, 11. We're doing the Kill Bills together. So we landed on Death Proof first. So this was part of actually like when this came out, I was like all about this. It's part of Grindhouse was the name of it, and it was two movies together. Apparently, back in like the 70s, you would go to the movie theater, pay for one ticket, and they would have like two like shitty gore horror movies together, and you would get two for the price of one basically. So that's what they did. Tarantino and Richard Rodriguez. Yeah. He did Planet Terror. Tarantino did Death Proof. So yeah, we did Death Proof. Get into. Oh wait, hold on. You didn't ask me a very important question.
Oh, Anthony. I'm so happy you brought it up, bud. I've been meaning to ask you since we started the podcast. What you watching?
Well, apparently you weren't meeting enough because you forgot.
Well, right. Yeah.
Well, we kind of didn't. There was no room. We kind of transitioned very smoothly, I must say.
Yeah. No, thank you. I've been working on them.
Yeah, but I have been watching. I just watched. I went to the movies and I saw Get Out.
Oh, okay. I've heard a lot about this.
It was pretty good. I enjoyed it. The director was Jordan Peele from Key and Peele.
Yeah.
And I wasn't.
Wait, is that the smaller nerdy one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I wasn't sure what to think of it going in, just because like I'd never seen him in anything serious before.
Wait, he didn't act. He directed, right?
No, yeah, he directed, but like the fact that he's never even been involved with anything serious, as far as I've known. That's why I was a little skeptical. But it was pretty good. I mean, there was some good twists in there, and there was a lot of subtle but not so subtle undertones about kind of race in today's society.
I don't think it was. I mean, just judging the preview, I don't think the race was subtle.
No, well, yeah. I mean, there was. That's what I said. There was some subtle and not so subtle.
Right.
There was a little bit of both.
I mean, isn't it about like white people hypnotizing black people to like be their slaves again?
I mean,
that's just what I got out of the preview. I don't know.
Sort of, kind of, not really. I mean, there's a twist in there that I don't want to ruin.
All right, yeah, don't spoil it for me. Actually, Ray just told me that like I have to watch it 100. Like he made me promise him. So I mean, I'm expecting a lot now. I have high expectations.
Yeah, no, I mean it's good. I mean, honestly, it's definitely a movie that you could kind of really analyze. There's a lot of stuff in there, a lot of little. It's funny because he has a white girlfriend and he goes to her parents' house, and they have a party with all these people there, and they're just like the whitest people, and they're asking the most you can tell when he wrote this movie, he just took every ridiculous question that white people asked him, like not meaning to be racist, but like is kind of racist.
Yeah,
and he just threw that in the movie. So it's just like it's interesting to see it, us being white from a black guy's perspective. But I definitely recommend it.
Okay.
All right, so now we can get into Death Proof. We'll talk about the actors a little bit. One thing I noticed, well, I've noticed this before, but Tarantino, he's always kind of using the same actors over and over again.
Oh yeah, big time.
I mean, Kurt Russell's in this movie.
Yeah.
He's Stuntman Mike. You got, and these are kind of smaller characters earlier on, but Eli Roth is in there for a little bit. He was in Inglourious Bastards, and he's actually
Dominic DeCoco.
No, but he's in it too.
But he's in that,
Yeah,
right? Okay,
he's in
that's
it
what I
too. I
thought you were
was
talking
gonna
about.
get to him. Omar Doom. That's like he's literally been in this movie and then Glorious Bastards, and that's really
And
it.
that's it. Yeah. No,
Yeah,
he uses a lot of these like unknown actors, like very often, and like that's literally on their IMDb page. It's just his movies. Like there's a lot
yeah.
of people like that. So
Because
I thought that was
you know what
interesting.
I noticed is like a lot of times he'll these actors will kind of play the same role almost like
Yeah.
personality wise. So I feel like he just finds people who have that kind of certain personality,
Yeah.
and he just has them play that role to like perfection. Like
Right.
especially with the girls, because like most
Yeah.
of the girls, there's two sets of girls. The movie can kind of split up in half.
Yeah.
Um, each girl was so like different from each other,
Yeah.
but and like most of them, I mean, there's a couple bigger names in there, but most of them really haven't been in anything for the most part. But
Yeah. No, I agree. There was one girl. I forget her name. Um, it was. I think it was Jordan. She played Shanna or something like that. Again, the names weren't very prevalent, but she's in Clerks too. She's I don't know if
okay,
you've seen Clerks too. The black girl in the second group of girls. The one with like the big lips
like the frizzy hair and
and the
stuff.
frizz. Wow, we just got like very stereotypically racist, but not on purpose.
Well, but I
The
mean
big
that's
lips and the fizzy hair. Yeah. No, but she's very pretty. I mean, she just has the high cheekbones, and she's wearing like that really long like uh, religious looking dress the whole time.
in
Um,
Clerks.
no, in this movie,
Oh, which one is
but
which
she
one?
almost dresses the same in this movie. Think about it. There's only one black girl in the second group of girls,
No,
right?
yeah, I don't remember her wearing a dress though.
Oh, in this movie, yeah, she was wearing like a maxi dress the whole time, like the ones that down to her ankles. And at the end, she like hikes it up like past her knees.
Oh no, that's Rosario Dawson,
Oh, did I
Abernathy.
get the name wrong? She's from
Yeah,
Clerks too.
yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, so Rosario Dawson, she's been in. Yeah, she's one of the bigger names in this. She's been in a bunch of stuff.
Yeah,
Also, Rose McGowan, she played the first girl that stuntman Mike. No,
got the lap dance from.
no, the one that he killed in the car.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I got you. The
yeah,
first, yeah, the blonde
that
girl.
girl that gave the lap dance. I think she should be in more movies. I don't know what it is about the Brooklyn accent. It just drives me crazy.
Really?
Vanessa Ferlito.
Uh huh.
Yeah, no, that's her name. She was in these movies and then like Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
That's it, really.
Does she have a
Uh,
really bad nose job? Is that what's going on with her? Like she looks like a Michael. She has like a Michael Jackson type nose.
yeah, I mean the nose isn't great, but just like the whole package did it for me.
Yeah. No. I mean, she was very attractive, obviously. I preferred Jungle Julia, to be honest
Yeah,
with you.
no, she was, and I'm
She was
actually
gorgeous.
I'm looking at the page right now, and her name is Sydney Tamia Poitier,
Okay.
and Sydney Poitier, like he's like a real famous actor, black actor. Again, the race, but I don't even know what he's been in, but he's like one of the best actors of all time, supposedly. Sydney
Okay.
Poitier, I think so you pronounce it.
Yeah. Let me
But
add it.
she's named after him apparently.
Gotcha.
Um,
So she was
uh,
like raised an actress.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, I don't think she's related to him. Would I say she's related to him?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
No, I don't think she isn't because I looked it up. I think she has the same name,
Interesting.
um, which maybe her parents did that. I don't know.
But as far
Um,
as the acting goes, I mean, um, in like a lower quality Tarantino film, which I think we can both agree this is, even though
yeah,
I liked it, it's definitely one of his lower quality ones.
it was
Um,
it was kind of intentionally lower quality.
it was no, for sure, and that's he
Yeah,
does it for like satirical effect almost. But
yeah,
the acting is on every character. It's so exaggerated. I feel like or over the top that like you can't even tell if they're doing a good job. You know,
yeah.
it's hard to judge acting in Tarantino movies, which I feel like I don't. A lot of times, maybe his movies don't win the best acting performances because of that. I feel like his movies are good as a whole, but except for like some dialogue scenes, I don't know. I feel like a movie like this isn't known for its acting.
No,
Um,
for sure. And when I go see a Tarantino movie, I don't go for the acting. I mean,
right? It's
I
almost
go for the
it's extra,
story. Yeah,
right?
exactly. I go for
For
the.
the
I mean,
violence, for the visual effects, for like
yeah,
everything.
And especially when he has a movie where it jumps around a little bit, how he kind of just like ties it all together in the end.
Yeah.
And even though this does have to do with the acting, just his dialogue. Like I've said this to you know off the record, I'm pretty sure a couple times that like I could watch an entire movie of Tarantino dialogue. Like they don't even need the violence. Just the dialogue is so like
Yeah.
genuine and so
Yeah.
real. Like
Yeah.
he just knows how to make a dialogue.
Yeah. So what I was gonna say was, you know, I want to touch on Kurt Russell real quick, just
Okay.
because he was probably the only one I didn't love in this movie. I don't know why. It's not that I'm usually a Kurt Russell hater. I think he's a good actor, but I think I would have preferred someone else as like a little grumpier, a little older, like maybe even like a Billy Bob Thornton would be like
Okay.
cooler in this role. I don't know. There was something about him that kind of annoyed me at times. I think the girls in this movie were a lot more entertaining, like acting wise. I'm not talking physically, like they were, you know.
Yeah. No, yeah, I think that was. I mean, because he was around a good amount, but he didn't have much like actual like dialogue, screen time really.
He
I mean, he
didn't,
was
yeah.
usually in his car, just kind of like creeping on him.
Just creeping, exactly.
Yeah. There was a couple other, just real quick, I wanted to talk about. The girl that played Lee, um, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, you know, the girl in the cheerleader outfit.
Okay.
She super hot. I don't know why she hasn't been in anything else really. I mean, that's kind of criminal. I feel like. I mean, I looked at a picture of her now, and she's not as attractive. I mean, obviously it's 10 years later. So,
Well, yeah. I mean,
yeah. But like even then, like I don't know, I thought she was really hot. And then also shout out to Zoe Bell, kind of played herself in the movie. She
yes.
she was actually she's actually a stunt woman in real life. Like
Really?
she was Uma Thurman's stunt double in the Kill Bill movies.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess she worked with Tarantino there, and he just liked it so much that he just like brought her on for this movie and kind of gave her. And she's actually had some actual acting jobs after this. So shout out to her. So you know,
Nice.
getting it done.
Yeah. So let's you know, I think we've said enough about the acting in this. Let's get into kind of some of our favorite parts. You know, obviously the movie starts out with more dialogue than action, right?
Yeah, yeah, it definitely. The first maybe like 20 minutes, half hours, kind of just like follow this group of girls around, Jungle Julia and her friends. I can't remember their names.
Yeah, it's not
Arlene.
important. You see, like
Yeah,
I feel like this is the type of the movie where the girls don't really matter, like as individuals. It's kind of just like a group, because like they're replaced in the second half of the movie. Like they're essentially the same three people, just different
right.
places.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, they're Jungle and Julia and company. They're kind of going around. They go to a bar. They're just hanging out. This is where they run into the stuntman Mike, who he's actually been following them around a little while. He has like the pictures in his like visor.
Yeah,
He's kind of looking after them or looking for them, and he's kind of playing coy the whole time. Um, there's actually one part I just want to give it a shout out to T9 texting. At one point, the Jungle Julia pulls out her phone to text, and it's the T9.
oh yeah,
You have to hit the button like 3 times to get to the letter.
yeah.
Little flashback there. You know, then Tarantino makes his little cameo. You know, as the bartender or the bar owner or whatever. I don't even know, because he's in all of his movies.
Yeah,
Um,
something I like about it too. It's like almost like a signature at the bottom of like a book or something.
yeah, yeah. I mean, listen, if I was directing movies, I'd do the same thing.
Yeah, why not, right? Like it's just a small like 3-line role, but
Yeah,
like there's no reason not to. Like why not be an extra in your movie? I'm surprised other directors don't do it more.
yeah. Alfred Hitchcock used to do it.
Yeah,
It's
I mean
cool.
there's a few. I think Scorsese has done it once or twice as well.
Okay, yeah, I'm pretty sure
Correct
he
me if I'm
has.
wrong, but I could have sworn I seen him in one of his own movies. But it's just like a power move. Like I don't know. You got to respect it, and he stays consistent. I mean, there's not many of his movies that he's not in.
Yeah,
There's
no,
maybe only a few.
I can't really think of any. I mean, he's
I
in
mean, I don't think he's in
most.
Inglourious Bastards,
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I don't think he's in that.
or he is in Django, isn't he? Yeah, I think
I think he is. I don't know if he's in Pulp Fiction.
I think he's a slave master in Django.
Yeah, you're right. He is. Pulp
But it's so
Fiction, I
hard
don't know if
because it's
he's in.
such a small role. There's times where he's literally an extra and doesn't say one word.
Yeah, yeah, and then there's times where he is like, a little bit of a bigger role. I mean,
And
in
it's funny
Reservoir
because like he
Dogs.
tries to be sneaky, but he's like the most uniquely looking person of all time.
Yeah, he's
You
just,
know, like you can't miss Tarantino.
yeah, he's kind of got like the pushed in face and like
Yeah,
the
he's
like
fucking
the
the
crackhead
ugliest
jaw.
man. Oh, he's terrible. He's terrible.
Yeah.
He looks like a schizophrenic cokehead. Like you can like see him sniffing from far away. He's like,
Even the way he like talks too, the way he moves, he's
yeah, he's
really
very
kind of,
mousy, very
yeah,
mousy. Like he looks like a lab rat that they're doing like cocaine tests on.
yeah,
Um, but anyway, so I wanted to rewind real quick to um, the opening dialogue with the girls. I think they're like in the car, like smoking a cigarette and like doing what like basic bitches do, like talking about nothing important.
yeah,
You know, like they were having this discussion about like you can make out with him, but you can't hook up with him. And this confused the living shit out of me. Like I thought about this for 15 minutes because I feel like I have this conversation with a lot of people. Like, what's the difference between make out and hook up? To me, they're the same thing.
yeah.
Like in my generation, that's the same
I'm
thing.
I'm glad you brought that up because the first time I saw this movie, I was confused too.
Right?
Um,
You're like, what do you mean? You can kiss, but you can't kiss? Like,
yeah,
what does that
no,
mean?
apparently hooking up for them
Hooking up
is
means sex, right?
yeah, yeah. That's I mean that's what I got out of it. That's what I assumed. But yeah, I
Yeah.
like growing up when we would talk about it, like hooking up was always like making out.
Yeah, me too. Hooking up was making out, and making out was like a gay way to say hook up,
Yeah,
right? But like to our parents, it meant like meeting up with your
yeah,
friends
oh,
somehow.
yeah,
You know,
exactly.
like my mom would be like, "Oh, you're gonna go hook up with David?" I'm like,
No,
"No."
yeah, that's
Like what?
it's just
So like, it has a different meaning for everyone. It makes absolutely no
it's
sense.
kind of a weird evolution of the word though because I would say Tarantino's probably between our generation and our parents' generation. Like he's
Right?
obviously older than us,
Yeah, he is.
but I
Older
think
than us, younger than our parents, probably. If not,
right.
maybe the same age, depending on you know
Yeah, that's right. I don't
how
know how old
irresponsible your parents were.
he is. Yeah, he's probably younger than my parents, but
Yeah, me too.
um, he so it goes from hanging out to fucking to making out. Like usually
Right.
you would
No,
think it would.
I think it went from fucking to hanging out to kissing.
Okay,
I
yeah,
don't know, maybe. But anyway, the
we'll,
evolution of that phrase is very cloudy.
we'll do a different podcast on that. I'm sure we can
Yeah.
go into depth on that.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
but yeah, so and the whole time they're talking about this lake house they're gonna go to, and they're all excited for that.
And no dudes are allowed.
No dudes allowed.
Yeah. By the way, these
Yeah,
don't seem like the type of girls that are no dudes allowed.
yeah. I don't know how old they were, but they're like, if my dad comes up and finds out that
Right.
there's
Like,
guys there, like,
and not to mention her dad's like a total creep, right? Like he
yeah,
just,
he just comes around and like looks at them in their bikinis. He's like, "Hey,
yeah.
how you ladies doing?"
That's the role Tarantino should have played. He kind of seems like a creepy dad.
Yeah, he should have been his dad.
Yeah.
But so Jungle Julia, she's like a radio personality.
Mhm.
Um,
They're all gold diggers, right? For the most part. They're
radio
all talking about like
personalities.
no, like all the girls kind of in throughout the movie are like looking to meet famous men. That's like I feel like in both sets of girls, there's always one that's looking to like bang a rich guy.
Yeah, no, it's no. I think it's just most girls in general.
Girls in general just want to bang a rich guy. Yeah, no, I guess
Yeah,
so. It's a decent point.
yeah. Shit, what were we talking about? Oh, so yeah, Jungle Julia is like a radio personality, and she does this thing where she says that her friends in town, Arlene, um, and
Butterfly.
yeah, Butterfly, and so they have like a whole poem thing, whatever. If you recite it to her, she'll give you a lap dance.
Yeah.
And Kurt Russell is just like creeping these girls out the whole time. And he just comes up and just like recites the poem.
Yeah.
She ends up giving the lap dance, and it's pretty awkward. Actually,
It's a
no,
weird it's a weird lap dance. I mean
yeah,
it's cool. Like it's a funny scene, but like I don't know. She doesn't really have much rhythm, so it's like a bad lap dance too.
yeah.
But she's giving it her all. Like she's putting in 100% effort.
Oh, she definitely is, which is
Yeah.
weird. You would think that for a guy like that, she would
It's a
not
very
want
like
to.
bright open setting. It's just like everyone like moved all the tables and chairs and they're just like, staring
Yeah,
at
it's
her.
literally in the middle of the bar. Like
Middle of the bar.
they just kind of
Yeah.
clear out.
Yeah. So that's a lot of pressure. I mean, that takes some balls.
Yeah, no, for sure. A little bit after that is when he gives that girl Pam a ride home, Rose McGowan.
Let's talk a second about Pam, because Pam was that was when we first hear um, Kurt Russell kind of talk, because
Right.
before that he's just staring at his car,
Just like
um,
eating nachos real grossly.
eating nachos. That was disgusting. Yeah, but he's not really introduced as a talking person until then, and I thought this was my favorite scene of his, like when he first starts talking. Then he gets more like useless as the movie goes on, because it's just more about his car than him. But I think he says something about the car being his mom's, like, but he uses it in a funny way. So I liked when he did that, and his entire conversation with Pam is very it's humorous, because obviously he's more interested in those other girls. I guess he's kind of using her to get in with them. So
Yeah, to kind of like figure out, because again he had their pictures hanging up, and which I don't know how he got the pictures, but he had their pictures like on the visor. So he's been following them, and I guess he
right.
uses this as like a way to kind of
Yeah,
um,
yeah,
get some information about them.
yeah.
But and
One thing I wanted to. Oh, sorry.
no, I was gonna say, you were talking about how it was more about his car, like after the first couple of scenes than anything else. I'm pretty sure I saw an interview with Tarantino back when this came out that he wanted to kind of make the car the villain, almost in a sense, because a lot of times when he's driving around, you don't really see him; you just kind of see
The car.
his like silhouette, like sitting in the thing. But yeah, it's more about the car being like the villain than him. But yeah,
Right. No, that's true, because until he gets in the car is when he becomes the bad guy. Like, he kills that girl when he's in the car. Obviously he kills all the other girls while he's in the car. And then at the end when he gets pulled out of the car, spoiler alert, he becomes just like a useless, almost a good guy again. Like, without his car, he's just a regular guy.
yeah. No, it's I mean, the car gives him the power to be that that villain.
Right.
But yeah, so he ends up killing Pam. He just brutal. He just kind of she's like a human pinball in just like this glass case with like no seatbelt. She's just going
Yeah.
around hitting everything. He stops short, breaks her face open. Like, um,
And it's funny, because he introduces his very, what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of original violence, because I think he creates violence differently than most directors. So his style of violence is introduced like 30 minutes into the movie, so you're like, it kind of almost takes you for shock, like you're not
yeah,
expecting it, especially if you don't know Tarantino that well. You're just watching this movie by accident. Like, you're not
right.
expecting that amount of violence that quickly.
Yeah.
There's like blood everywhere. Like, she smashes her jaw. Like,
Yeah,
it's pretty gruesome.
yeah.
And
No,
out of character for him, because before that he was just like a nice guy just hitting on a girl at a bar.
yeah, no. It's and between that and then the next scene that comes up, it's just so it just escalates so quickly because we were talking about how the first like half hour plus of the movie is just dialogue basically, and the next 5 to 10 minutes is just like mayhem.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, it is. No, you're right. And he's known for that. He's known for those drastic jumps in um, mood. He'll go from the most gruesome scene of violence to like a happy song and a regular dialogue scene. So
yeah.
he switches mood like he's bipolar.
Like Reservoir Dogs, the guy's cutting the ear off and just singing "Stuck in the Middle with You."
Oh,
Like,
that's my favorite scene.
yeah, I know.
Uh,
Spoiler alert. We'll get to that
that's
eventually.
I love that. And the music cuts in and out as he's walking in and out of the warehouse. Oh,
Yep.
absolutely gold. But yeah, there's more of that. Now that you brought up music, I can go ahead and introduce a new topic to Director's Cut, which is On Our Knees. It's basically where we pay respects to something that the director does well. Especially for this Tarantino edition, you're going to probably hear a lot of it. But the music is always different. It's always good music. It's always a song I probably never heard of.
Yep.
He uses like really obscure music. Like, he doesn't use like radio hits or anything like that, but it's all good and it all works. And it all ties itself together. Like in Django, he used a lot of like hip hop, but he didn't do it in an attacky way, like Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
Like he did it in ways where it organically fit into the movie.
Yeah, no, I like you were saying, a lot of music you haven't really heard of, but it just fits what's going on so perfectly.
Yeah, yeah,
It's like he has the most eclectic iPod, and then he just hears a song. He's like, that would be perfect in this scene, and
yeah. Like he's
just lines
just
it
like
up.
that guy that has like records of bands you've never heard of. He's
Yeah,
just like the world's biggest hipster when it comes to music because like he has all these really good random songs lined up. And while we're on the on your knees segment, I also wanted to bring up some of the scenery, obviously, um, and not just the scenery, but like the antique signs that he used in this movie. He
yep.
had a lot of neon signs, a lot of just road signs, just like a lot of signs.
Even
So
like
and
in the bars, like on the walls, was just
right
like
in the
signs.
bars, but
Yeah,
even outside the bars, and even on the road and stuff like that. Just to name a couple that I thought were funny, they kind of like were introducing the scene or like kind of a title. So when Arlene was doing the lap dance, there was like three X's. There was like a
okay,
triple X sign, the neon
yeah,
sign on top of her, just kind of like being like, "All right, she's a whore." And you know, there was a time where stuntman Mike was parked in front of a building and the sign over the building was home slice. I thought that was funny.
okay,
Like, I don't know. That really had no meaning. It was just funny. But there's times where, again, he uses the scenery to introduce the scene or enhance the scene. The very beginning, the first scene of the Jungle Julia, kind of like running through her house half naked.
yeah,
She like sits down on the couch, and above her, there's like a painting of Marilyn Monroe, sitting in the exact same position. So it's just
okay.
like he's just all over the place. There's so much thought put into the scenery.
Yeah, no, and kind of along the same lines. I guess I'll get into this now. The whole first half of the movie had such an old timey feel, like because you can tell that's what he was trying to go with the whole grindhouse kind of movie. But even
Mm-hmm.
just the way it's kind of shot. Like I love how like the tacky like they'll be driving and it'll like cut out for a second and then it'll come back and the car will be like halfway up the road.
Yeah,
A poorly shot. Even the car, every single car in that movie was like an old school car.
yeah,
You know, the jukebox in the bar where where Julia's hanging out, like it's a legit jukebox. Like they still have jukeboxes now, but they're all like computerized. Like that was a legit jukebox. All the clothes they were wearing, all the music they're listening to, everything about it. Like you could have taken, especially the first half of the movie, you could have taken that, moved it back like 30, 40 years, and would have fit right in.
and then she's texting on her Nokia.
Yeah, and then they throw that in. So I mean, other than that, yeah, no, that was a nice little touch. But so after he kills Pam, he drives up the road. He catches up to Jungle Julia and all of her friends. And again, getting back to the gore, this happened not even 5 minutes after he killed Pam. He just goes head on into them. Like he pulls out in front of him, pulls a Yui, and
Shuts
just
the lights off.
shuts the lights off. And if we didn't mention this before, if you haven't seen the movie, which you should have if you listened to the podcast, it's a stuntman's car. That's why he's stuntman Mike, which means it's like reinforced all around, so it's basically indestructible. Well, it's not indestructible, but it makes it so the driver is kind of indestructible. Or
Death proof.
death proof, yeah, hence the name of the movie. Um, and it'd be one thing just to like show the collision, but he ran it back like four times and showed how each individual girl died.
I love that. Yeah.
The Jungle Julia like gets her leg chopped off, like the other girl goes flying through the windshield, like
One just gets like run over on her face.
yeah, the tire just runs up her face. Super brutal, and that trademark of the Tarantino movie. Now I don't know about this movie, but I know in a bunch of other movies he's done. His special effects guy, his that controls all the gore, is actually Greg Nicotero, who is also the makeup uh, artist, whatever for The Walking Dead.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
yeah, so he does. Now he's mainly on Walking Dead now. He does all like the zombie deaths, all the gruesome stuff like that. He was working with Tarantino on a bunch of his movies
Okay.
throughout his career, so it's an
Interesting. I didn't know that.
interesting little tidbit. Um, yeah, so he takes out the four girls in the car. He ends up in the hospital, but he ends up surviving, and then the movie picks up again 14 months later.
In black and white.
Yeah, it starts off in black and white. They're in Lebanon, Tennessee. The first part was in Austin, Texas. Um, as soon as it starts, he finds his next victims. He's sitting in the parking lot, sees the girls pull up.
Right.
Um,
And that's when you realize too that I thought was interesting. When you first watch this movie, you think that this is a revenge kill or a hate, like a crime of hatred of some sort. And then after there's a new group of girls, you realize he's just kind of a serial killer.
yeah, he just goes around just finding girls and just murdering them with his car.
Yeah.
And there's an interesting little scene where he's kind of rubbing up on Abernathy's feet, like.
Oh, the foot fetish scene! I forgot about that.
And I'm pretty sure Tarantino has this in a couple movies. I think he actually has a foot fetish, and he just throws this in
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
He's trying to normalize it so he could kind of justify his foot fetish.
Because there's nothing weirder than a foot fetish.
It's an odd fetish. I mean, there's some people who are just
a popular odd fetish. That's what I don't understand.
Yeah, it's I guess because there's nothing super gross. There's definitely some gross fetishes out there, but I mean, feet. Some people are appalled by feet. They're just absolutely disgusted by feet. I'm neutral. I'm neutral towards feet. Obviously, if your foot's dirty, I don't want your foot in my face.
Yeah.
I definitely don't want to put your foot in my mouth, or whatever.
Yeah, I'm definitely anti-foot when it comes to sexual stuff.
Yeah, when it comes to sexual
stuff, because I have smelly ass feet. That's probably has a lot to do with it. I mean, I'm all for a foot massage. Don't get me wrong, but when it's sexual, I don't think it.
Yeah, I mean, definitely not in a sexual way, but if I'm sitting on the couch and someone kind of puts their foot on top of my leg or something, I'm not gonna be like, oh my god, gross. I get it. Some people would do that because they're so gross on my feet. I'll just be like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
But yeah, so foot fetishes.
So let's talk for a second about the similarities between the group of three girls. I don't know if it's maybe a model thing, because correct me if I'm wrong, but both groups of girls had a famous, quote unquote famous person in it, because Jungle Julie was a radio host and a model or something like that. And then the girl in the cheerleader uniform, I think, was a famous actress and a model or something like that.
Yeah, because she was in the magazine at one point. And
right. And then they introduced her to that hillbilly guy as a famous actor.
Yeah, I don't know if they were playing that up or not, but I was trying to figure out why she was wearing a cheerleader outfit. I guess it would make sense if she was.
No, she just came back from a shoot where she's playing a cheerleader or something.
Okay, so that would make sense. So in this part, he there's a couple things there was a lot of stuff in this scene I wanted to talk about. So there's a whole thing with the feet, and then he's sitting in the parking lot. He just peels out one of the most ridiculous peels out of a parking lot I've ever seen, where he just in the middle of the street just guns it. And then he's just sitting on the other side. And up until this point, the whole this whole second half is in black and white. And the girl comes out of the store, and she's sitting there looking across the street, and he's watching them from across the street. And then he peels out again, and as soon as he peels out, it switches to color.
Yeah.
So what I kind of thought about that was, that's when shit got real.
Yeah.
That's when he kind of picked his next targets, and it kind of snapped back to reality. The black and white was almost kind of like a dream state kind of thing.
Yeah, I think we can chalk that up to symbolism, question mark.
Yeah, symbolism?
Symbolism? I mean, what does that mean? There's definitely someone can draw deeper meaning from him turning it to black and white. I'm not a huge fan of these extravagant shows of artsiness. And I love Tarantino, but there's times where little stuff like this is just is it necessary? Either put an entire section of the movie in black and white, or sometimes he goes a little bit over the top. You got to call him out.
Yeah, no, we can get off the knees for that. And it also interesting to know that the second half of the movie is shot normally. It's not in that kind of grindhouse effect. And then some little Easter eggs in here. When the girls are walking around the store, her phone rings, and it's the Kill Bill song.
Yes.
The little whistle. And then also the car they're driving, which is a little bit different than the car in the other movie, but it says it's the same color. So I don't know if you've seen Kill Bill. We haven't talked about this, but the first Kill Bill, when she gets out of the hospital, when she wakes up
The
from the
pussy
coma,
wagon.
the pussy wagon. Yep. So they
Okay.
had the pussy wagon in this too. It said it had a little thing on it, the pussy wagon. It
Oh, I
was the
missed it.
same color.
There was a pussy wagon in this one.
It wasn't the same kind of car, but it was the car the girls were driving, the yellow one that they started off in.
I
It
didn't
was
see the sign that said pussy wagon.
it was a little decal, kind of like almost where it would say what kind of car it is on
Oh, it was
the
like a
back.
bumper sticker.
Yeah, almost, but like yeah, almost like a bumper sticker. But like if you look at a Honda Civic where it says like Civic, it was like right there, kind of small
Gotcha.
little thing. So the
Gotcha.
pussy wagon, it was the same shade of yellow,
Uh-huh.
little Easter eggs in there. Um, and then and after that, they go pick up their friend Zoe. We were talking about the stunt woman, and they have this little diner scene. And we talked about this, but so many of Tarantino's movies, there's like
Wait,
the
are you about to
dialogue.
get on your knees again?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've basically been filming this on my knees. I'm just recording from my knees. But, um, he always has these diners or these restaurant scenes with these dialogues where we were talking. I don't know if this is before. I think it was before the show we were talking about
Yeah, it was.
the camera work, where you know the, it's like a circular table, which
Uh-huh.
you know they always find a circular table. I don't know how many. I haven't sat at many circular tables.
Yeah, they're
And
very rare at restaurants. Tarantino always seems to find them.
he always seems to find the circular table.
Right.
But while they're having the
Around.
conversation, the camera's circulating around the table, and it doesn't break. It's all one continuous dialogue. It doesn't break. He doesn't break up the scene or
Yeah.
anything. Um, and I just find it interesting how he just plans it out perfectly. Like while one person's talking, it's shifting to the next, and by the
Right.
time they're finished talking, the camera's on the other person. They're talking. Like it just flawlessly, seamlessly, just kind of rotates around.
And
Goes from person to person.
that's almost Tarantino's like cocky way of saying that entire scene was filmed in one shot, because like
Yeah,
you can't like cut and paste a dialogue when the camera's slowly moving like that. Whereas if you're going back and forth to screen shots or
yeah,
different,
yeah.
it's easier to edit.
Right, right. And yeah, and it's easier to film too because it's like if you mess up, if it's a 10 minute dinner scene and someone messes up like 7 minutes in, you got to redo that whole thing.
The whole thing, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean that's pretty cool right there, especially because none of these girls are really big name actresses. So it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how hard it is to memorize lines. I've never had to, but I can assume it's easy to mess up every once in a while.
Yeah.
So they're kind of sitting there talking, and the girl Zoe, she's from New Zealand or something, Australia,
New Zealand.
New Zealand, and she says the one thing she wants to do is drive a '78. I don't even know what year it
It's a
was.
Dodge Charger.
Yeah, Dodge Charger, the white one. She has it all. She got the Lebanon, Tennessee newspaper like sent to her house in New Zealand so she could find one to drive. She found one. They go drive out there to see it. And Jasper shows up, who is the redneck.
Yes.
And this is one of my favorite lines of the movie. They pull up and they start honking, and
Uh-huh.
he comes up. He's like, "What you horny gals want?" Because like they're honking.
Yeah, yeah.
I just thought that I was just cracking up when he said that. Um, but yeah, basically, Zoe wants to do which she wants to do the sales master.
Oh, and we cut out again. This is the second time in a while. All right, well, in the meantime, everyone concentrate on your breathing. And now introducing our new segment, meditation. Cut out.
What do you think about that?
So cool.
But is it true though? Like in 2040? I mean, it could happen. Like between glass and solid.
I just bet there was going crazy.